Welcome to my channel. I am Kaylin and this is my daughter Wesley, and today I'm talking about my birth story. And so I'm a first-time mom, and so it was definitely obviously a brand new experience and I had no idea what to expect, but I did do a home birth, and so I love birth stories in general, and my birth was just like the coolest thing ever and so peaceful and super short labor. It was painful, but not anything insane or crazy, just like very normal pain. And so I wanted to share just more about, I guess, like a story you don't typically hear with home birth, especially as a first-time mom. And so yeah, I'll just rewind a little bit to the whole process of getting ready for the birth. So we went with a certified nurse midwife. And if you don't know what that is, I'll put a little definition for you here. And I did another video about why I wanted to do a home birth. It's a story time because a specific situation was kind of the reason that made me even think of doing a home birth, and maybe not think of it, but just like solidified I am doing a home birth. So make sure to watch that video. I will link it below and in the corner here, so you can watch it if you'd like. And aside from that story from my video, another reason was just I was doing my own research in general about birth, and the thing that kept coming up was just kind of like this phrase or this just idea that birth is a natural process and hospitals are for, medical procedures and medical needs, sicknesses and, kind of like issues and complications, whereas birth is natural. And I kept reading that and being like, oh, like, wow, like, women have been giving birth for how long? And it hasn't always been in hospitals. In other countries, it's still not in hospitals. And so the more I thought about it, the more I was like, if I have a low risk pregnancy and I'm healthy, like, why would I have to go to the hospital? And like, I hate hospitals, I hate doctors' offices. Even though I love my primary care physician, I just get very stressed and get like a lot of anxiety going to the doctor in general. So this was a great option for me, and so I decided on a home birth with a certified nurse midwife who was totally like, you can make your own choices and I will give you information on, a lot of things with birth, or everything. And that was just so amazing. But she wasn't just like completely like holistic. It was like, if you need medical help, she's a certified nurse midwife, so she can help me medically as well. Like, she could do sutures, she could do, IVs. And so that was a big thing that I was searching for in a midwife, was if I needed, medical assistance, she was able to provide that. And a lot of people ask me, like, were you uncomfortable being with a midwife without having like any medical help there and no doctor? And it's like, no, she's trained to provide that. Like, she's trained to give medical care. But a lot of people really do have that preconceived notion or just thought that a midwife means zero medicine. They can't help you if a situation arises, which was just not true with the midwife I chose. You are so noisy. You have so much to add. You're not in this part of the story yet. You're going to be in the story so soon. So soon you're going to be in the story, okay? Back to the story. Oh no, not back to the story. I'm just going to keep bouncing here. Maybe that will help. And so to give birth at home, though, my midwife said you had to be at least 37 weeks pregnant in order to do a home birth. Otherwise, you'd have to go to the hospital. And before then, though, everything was smooth sailing with my pregnancy. But then at 30 weeks, I found out I had gestational diabetes, which was just so tough, especially because I had the easiest pregnancy. I didn't have any morning sickness. I just felt really great the whole pregnancy. And so, to be hit with gestational diabetes was really tough. And obviously that is considered a risk in home birth. And so the only way I could still have a home birth is if I had managed it with diet and exercise. And so I got it at 30 weeks. I gave birth at 39 weeks. And so, okay, so I had to feed her because that was just so loud. and I feel like the story's like obviously long, so I don't think you want to hear her screaming the whole time. Like, I don't even know if you can hear me, so I'm feeding her. I guess I'll keep talking. But yeah, so essentially I had gotten gestational diabetes at 30 weeks, and so for over 2 months I had to eat completely clean, which I did, which, you know, was really tough, but the home birth, you know, and a healthy pregnancy were so important to me. And so it was 2 whole months, no carbs, no sugar, no bubble tea. And I had my birthday, my anniversary, my sister's birthday, and my baby shower all within that last 2 months of my pregnancy. And so not being able to have any cake or like eat what I wanted for my birthday or anniversary was so hard. But I did it, and you know, even though I had gestational diabetes, I still had a home birth. So if you were diagnosed, just know that doesn't disqualify you from doing a home birth if you manage it and, you know, keep your blood sugar in check, which, you know, I had to test my blood sugar all the time. And I will definitely do another video on gestational diabetes because it's super interesting and no one knows much about it. I didn't know anything about it before pregnancy, and I watched so many videos about like what people ate and how they managed it, and so I found those really helpful. So yes, skipping forward, I was still able to have the home birth, thankfully, due to my glucose numbers, and so I was just trying to make it to 37 weeks. But at that point, once I got to 37 weeks, I was just super excited. I had everything prepped at 37 weeks. I had a home birth table, and I have some videos and photos of it I can put right here. And essentially just had a bunch of things that I would need for the birth. I wanted to do a water birth, and so I had a birth pool. My midwife came, I think maybe it was week 36 or 37, and brought the birth pool over so I'd have it ready for, you know, when I went into labor. And so I had that. I had, you know, a thermometer for the pool and a whole, like, you know, contraption to feed water into the pool, sponges, towels, so many towels. I needed like 15 towels and like 10-15 washcloths. So got a lot of towels, a lot of like those like bed sheet things, I don't know, they use for like puppies, but this was obviously for blood. There's so much blood. And then a thermometer for the baby, like a nasal aspirator for the baby, just certain things that the newborn would need. And some snacks for the midwives, and my doula I had set up as well. So I had this big table full of supplies, and we had moved everything out of our living room just to have a big space for the pool. And we set up curtains as well in our living room just to be more private since we were having family come over to help. So we wanted some privacy, and so we set up curtains in our living room as well. And so totally ready to go. And at 38 weeks, I was like, I want to have this baby earlier than 40. But everyone was like, first time moms at 40 weeks, like, you know, you're expected to go past 40 weeks. Like, don't expect to be sooner, blah, 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 blah. Everyone said that. And so I expected her to come later. But I wanted her to come early. I was hoping she'd come early. And so to kind of make that go quicker, hopefully, I had heard the mile circuit was like this type of, not like exercise, but this weird like stretch kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I'll put a video below if you're interested, and maybe I'll find a little definition too. And so basically it's these 3 positions you do, and they help the body get ready for labor and like move the baby into the perfect position, the optimal position for giving birth. I did that 3 times. And so you hold each position for like, I don't know, it was 20 minutes. This was a long time ago, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But it was like, yeah, 20, 30 minutes, I think 20. You held these difficult positions, and all the comments on these videos were like, my baby came the next day or 2 days later or that night after doing the mile circuit. So I was like, okay, cool. So I did that for 3 days in a row, and then drank all the raspberry leaf tea every night, which also helped with my blood sugar, which was great. And I think maybe 2 days after the last time that I did it, I went into labor. And so that worked that worked for me. It didn't work the same night or anything, especially like some people said the first time I did it, the baby came right away. And I did it 3 times, and then like 2 days, or maybe 1 day after the 3rd time that I did it, then I went into labor. And so before I went into actual labor, I had been having, I don't know if it was prodromal labor or Braxton Hicks contractions, where they're basically like false contractions or like false labor, where you think you're in labor, but you're not. Your body's just getting ready for labor and having contractions just to get ready. And so I was experiencing that for the past 2 weeks, almost every day, maybe like 15 to 30 minutes of contractions. And especially if they happened in the middle of the night or very late, I'd be like, oh, I'm going into labor, maybe. And it was tough because, you know, you don't know until they just stop. And so every time you get like a little bit excited or nervous, and then they stop, and you're like, well, okay, that was not actual labor. And it's good. It's a good thing because it's good for your body to get ready to give birth. But, you know, I wasn't really sure every single time it happened. I wasn't sure, is this the time or not? And I learned from my midwife that babies most often come late at night, early in the morning, because your body is the most comfortable and rested, and like it knows it's a safe time to give birth. And so, especially when I had these contractions late at night or in the middle of the night, I would really think that I was about to go into labor, or I was currently in labor. So it was August 17th. It was a Wednesday. So I'm stopping right here because I was planning on doing this as one full video, and it just got too long, and so this is just basically preparing for the birth, and my next video will be the actual birth and labor and everything that happened. And yeah, just make sure you subscribe, like this, and come back for the next video.